Hello, this is Teacher Jordan and welcome to my class. And this is Oral Communication in Context. In today's lesson, let me begin with some questions. First, did you unfriend someone on Facebook because he or she has posted something that is offending to you? Maybe about politics, religion, or a negative comment on your profile photo? Second question, are you avoiding someone just because you don't like the way he or she talks? Or simply, you just don't like talking with this person? Yes? I hope it's not me. I would love to talk with you. Third question, did you fail a job interview just because you could not answer the questions properly and completely? Did you feel frustrated because you know that you have the skills for that job and yet you couldn't get the job because of poor communication skills? And lastly, did you have broken relationships just because of bad conversation and lack of communication? If your answer is yes to all of those questions or any of those questions, then this video is for you. I am a people person and I love talking. And I think that's one of the reasons why I could easily get along with people. But sometimes I know that I talk too much in some of my conversations. And I'm afraid that some people are avoiding me just because of that. But I'm sorry. I might be too opinionated about something else, but I would rather express myself than be judged wrongly and be misinterpreted for not speaking my thoughts at all. Anyway, this video is not all about me or how I feel. This is all about effective communication skills. Effective communication is not only about talking. It also requires listening, which is the ability to understand and interpret the other person. And there should be a balance between the two. This is one of the most valuable skills that we should learn in life. And how can you achieve it? Watch and learn. Here are some ways to become a better speaker. The first one is plan your message. What is the main idea that you are trying to express? Make sure that you are sending the message in a complete and clear way using language that is understandable to the receiver. Remember that the completeness of the message is essential to the quality of the communication process in general. The next one is be considerate. Do not dominate the conversation by talking only about yourself. Avoid the me, myself, and I kind of conversation. Let the person talk and share his or her feelings or opinions on the topic of conversation. Likewise, to be a better speaker, you need to consider relevant information about the receiver, such as the mood, the background, the perceptions, religion, age, gender, and so on. By doing so, you would be able to establish rapport and connection with that person. The third is speak clearly. Do not mumble or talk in the opposite direction of the listener. Clearness also means the use of simple and specific words that the listener might understand. So do not try to impress the other person by using highfalutin words or idiomatic expressions and slangs if you think he or she might not be able to understand them. The next is stay focused on the conversation. Doing something while talking, like typing or browsing your social media, driving, doing some household chores, or whatever it is, sends a message to the listener that the conversation is not worthy of your full attention. Do not multitask. If you need to talk, talk. If you need to do something, do it and do not talk at all. So you only have two options in this case. Number one is stop what you're doing and talk. Or the second one, continue what you're doing and do the talk next time. The fifth is be brief or be concise. Conciseness does not mean making the message short, but making it direct and straight to the point. Eliminate or remove insignificant and redundant information. Make your point meaningful and interesting by stating your ideas briefly. And lastly, learn to read the listener. Be mindful of the nonverbal signals from the listener, such as the facial expressions, gestures, or even the posture. If the other person is inattentive and uncomfortable, it is probably not the perfect time to be carrying on a conversation. If this happens, you can recommend to have the conversation at another time. As I have mentioned, listening is one of the requirements for an effective communication. Listening is one of the neglected macro skills. Although research shows that 70 to 80% of a person's time is spent listening, an average person is still considered a poor listener. Good ability in listening means having the competency to comprehend or understand information during the communication process. Now, here are some ways to become a better listener. The first one is eliminate distractions. If you find it difficult to concentrate on a conversation because of a noisy environment or something is bothering you, it's much better to reschedule the conversation or have another time to talk. Another way is make time to listen. I have this perception that most people come to us to talk because they want to be heard or listened to. So make time for them. If you are in a hurry or busy or doing something, let them know and reschedule the conversation. It is much better to delay the conversation than to risk having it cut short, especially if it's very important. It is our human need to be listened to. So make time to listen. In a recent post of a Facebook friend, he mentioned that a lot of people thank him for having great conversations, even if what he did was just to listen. Yes, simply listening. He realized that most people don't feel that they are listened to. Therefore, he is offering his listening services, in which what you can do is talk and say whatever you want. He's just going to listen to you, not say any advice at all or any judgment. It is just so amazing that we can possibly save someone's life for just simply listening to them. Morgan Scott Peck, an American psychiatrist and the best-selling author who wrote the book The Road Less Traveled, said that you cannot truly listen to anyone and do something else at the same time. Repeat what you think the speaker said to ensure that you heard or understood the speaker correctly. This is called reflective listening. You can practice it by saying the expression, "If I understand you correctly." In this way, you are giving chance to the speaker to clarify a point or information and ensure that both of you are on the same page. The next is listen for understanding. And I would like to quote Stephen R. Covey, a motivational writer, who said that most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. If you do not fully understand a point or information, it is much better to ask questions for clarification. Do not be embarrassed or shy doing it. This is much better so that you can avoid misunderstanding and misinterpreting the ideas. Another way is question skillfully. Use open-ended questions to get the speaker more involved in the conversation. Remember that an open-ended question is not answerable by yes or no. So you can ask questions like, how do you feel about it? Or let them explain more by saying, tell me more about it. In this way, you are telling the speaker that you care about his or her opinions and you value what he or she is going to say about it. And lastly, wait for the speaker to finish and do not interrupt. In some cases, we might get too excited to react or respond during a conversation, maybe because the topic is so interesting or shocking to us. But it is not good to interrupt the speaker. So let the speaker finish first before you deliver your response. In this way, you can ensure effective communication. So those are the ways on how to become an effective communicator. I hope that this video would be an eye-opener for you to be more aware and mindful of the way you talk with the people around you. I am not expecting you to change instantly, but day by day, gradually, little by little, I hope that you will strive to become an effective communicator as you grow as a person. And before I end this, I would like to leave you a message from Pope Francis on communication. He said communicating means sharing, and sharing demands listening and acceptance. Listening is much more than simply hearing. Hearing is about receiving information, while listening is about communication and calls for closeness. Listening allows us to get things right and not simply to be passive onlookers, users, or consumers. Thank you so much for paying attention. I hope to see you next time.